Welcome once again to our ongoing YouTube video series on business law. My name is Christopher Neufeld, and I'm a business lawyer that works with clients all over the world, utilizing technology to increase the efficiencies of delivering legal results and contractual matters to clients the world over. Now, in this particular YouTube video, we're going to be discussing one of the key aspects of independent contractors agreements, and that is the aspect that you shouldn't get overly confident in believing that an independent contractor agreement is going to protect you 100% from government matters. Now, why do I say this? Well, I say this because the contract that you do as an independent contractor agreement or subcontractor agreement or contractor agreement is an agreement between yourself and an individual. And it does not have as a party to the agreement the government. And as such, the government is not signing off on the specifics of the agreement. But what the contract does do is it provides a legal basis and a legal argument saying that you are intending to, and then with the facts that you have, understood what the obligations are to distinguish this individual who's working for yourself as an independent contractor, contractor, or subcontractor from that of an employee. So it says, here is the framework I'm using. Here is the framework that I'm working with. I'm meeting the factors or indices that are following through on this. There's an obligation on the part of the individual to remit their taxes, to seek out other employment, to consider themselves as a contractor, a subcontractor, an independent contractor. And they have legally bound themselves to do this. They're legally obligated to respond to yourself with respect to requests to do certain things that fall within the framework of being an independent contractor as opposed to an employee. So you have set up the framework, and then what you want to do is abide by the framework, follow through on the framework, continue to strengthen off of the framework that the agreement is. But at the same time, you need to recognize, like I said earlier, that this is an agreement that is between you and another individual. And it is not an agreement that is necessarily with the government. So the government can say that even though you have this agreement, we still are looking at the factors that are critical to it. And even though the agreement plays a role in this process and you have sought to follow through on this process, the factors do not show this. The individual has not sought other employment from elsewhere, or other engagements from elsewhere. The individual has not remitted their taxes as a contractor would. They have not maintained their own business. They do not maintain their own tools. They're getting the tools from you. They're saying that you're doing stuff, that you're controlling them to the degree that an employee would be controlled as opposed to a contractor. So, what do you need to do then? Well, first of all, let's go back to the contract. Start off with a solid contract. Work with the right lawyer to develop the contract. But beyond the contract, understand what's involved. The lawyer should bring you up to speed on what the requirements are so that you're taking steps to ensure that the individual comes across as being a contractor. It's a gray area, remember. But the thing is, what you want to do is you want to show that the factors were in place. That the gray is more on the dark gray, moving towards the black of independent contractor, as opposed to what the government's wanting to argue, it's more in the white of an area of employee. So the contract is an important factor. The contract should be solid, should be signed off, should be followed through upon also. Follow-ups should be undertaken to keep the arrangement solid. References to employment should be devoid. And instead it should be contracting, and it should be assignments, and so on and so forth. But that's something for the contract itself and something for you to discuss with the lawyer based on the specifics of the business arrangement. And when the business arrangement doesn't facilitate that, you have to be aware of that because the government could very well come in and say, look, this is an employee arrangement. And you have to be aware of that. Simply do not think that simply having a contract with someone is going to enable you to avoid it being an employment arrangement. That is deluding yourself, and that is why you need to get the proper arrangements in place, the proper contracts in place, and work with the appropriate legal counsel who can advise you and help you move this process forward. Well, once again, I trust this video has been informative. And if you're actually looking for legal services in this area, whether in drafting the contract or working on building up your business in the independent contractor field, please do not hesitate to contact ourselves, as this is an area of legal practice that we work in steadily and would more than welcome working with you as your lawyers. Thank you.